Jill chuckled at his unexpected reaction. Like her, Michael had been born and raised in Chicago's suburbs. "We're not going to become nuisances, are we?" she asked. "The boss wants a positive spin on this travel story." "I won't become a nuisance, but you'd better not drink any 100-proof bourbon or you'll start singing 100 bottles of beer on the wall." "I don't even know the words. Can you get us a cash advance from accounting? Most likely not everyone takes American Express along the back roads." The ace videographer winked. "I'm way ahead of you. This assignment will be as easy as sipping lemonade on a hot summer day." Jill punched the address into his GPS and settled back to relax. Maybe 2 weeks of low-pressure interviews and personal interest vignettes, not to mention product sampling, would be fun. It would be nice to escape the office gossips for a while, who were always wondering if she and Michael were dating. They never had and never would. For one thing, editing audio and video segments to make people stop what they were doing and book a trip was hard work. Plus, office romances never turned out well. And a third reason? Jill didn't want anyone standing in the way of her advancement. She couldn't tread water in Chicago forever, growing more bored each day. It was time to go after what she wanted in life, even if it meant moving across the country, or halfway around the globe. "We're here, Sleeping Beauty," Michael whispered in her ear. "For crying out loud," Jill snapped. "A simple nudge would have worked." "Welcome to Roseville. How could anyone fall asleep on roads that twisty?" Old-fashioned streetlights, people milling around the town square, even a gazebo with a bandstand? Looks like we just stepped into a Norman Rockwell painting. You're not kidding. Roseville has more going for it than I expected. I've counted 6 bars that sell craft beer and local wines, besides the bread and butter of the county. A few places even have live music on Saturday. Heck with the nightlife. Jill craned her neck out the window. They have art galleries, dress shops, a jewelry store, and even a Whole Foods grocery. I want to move here. Towns this quaint are only on greeting cards. You'd do anything to get out of Chicago. Just remember, jobs for journalists in places like this don't pay squat. Money isn't everything. Let's stop for a minute and check out that bakery. Jill pointed at a tiny store with a bright red awning. Michael ignored her and turned at the next corner. "No, we'll check in first and get something to eat later." "Fine, but I'll pick the spot. I'm dying for a piece of pizza." They had no trouble finding the 3-story white colonial on a tree-lined street a few blocks from downtown. And they would have no trouble finding the distilleries tomorrow. Plenty of signs pointed to Founders Reserve north of town and the Black Creek Distillery 20 miles to the south. Michael parked at the curb and grabbed their bags from the trunk. "I hope you reserved 2 rooms instead of twin beds in the attic." "Don't be ridiculous. I even asked for rooms in separate wings." Jill took her suitcase from his hand and marched up the front steps. Just as she was about to knock, the door swung open. "Welcome to Sweet Dreams," said a 70-ish silver-haired woman. "I'm Mrs. Clark. You must be Miss Curtis and Mr. Erickson. Please come in." "Hi, I'm Jill, and that's Michael." Jill stepped across the threshold into the foyer. "Wow, your home and your town are adorable." "A newborn baby is adorable," she said with a laugh. "I would describe my house as colonial Williamsburg on a budget." "Well, I think it's gorgeous." Jill had been expecting overdone Victorian with tons of knickknacks, but her decor was almost austere. "Any house rules we should know about, ma'am?" asked Michael, pragmatic to a fault. "Let's see. Your rooms have deadbolt locks, but the back door is always open in case you go out later. Breakfast is at 8:30 in the dining room, or later by request. Tea and scones are available in the library at 4, and then at 6 o'clock I provide wine, beer, or bourbon with a light snack." Mrs. Clark pulled 2 skeleton keys from her pocket. "What about the rule you break it, you bought it?" Michael asked. "Good grief, young man. Accidents happen. Where are you folks from?" "I'm from Chicago. He's from the moon." Jill took the key from her. "Thanks, Mrs. Clark. I would love tea this afternoon." Jill started up the stairs, then turned back to Michael.